icon. Oh, now,
There we go.
welcome to the reboot of the revamp of the reimagining of the Monday Show. Now with the new brand name, the Guest Spotlight. We didn't get canceled. ABC picks us up because we were on Fox, especially because of the Disney buyout.
Yeah.
But now, you stumbled into my introduction. Well, this new format is going to be like a totally improvised thing, but still we're going to talk about some themes. Like we're going to talk about Deadpool and how Troy had an orgasm watching Deadpool. And we're going to talk about the divisiveness of the Solo movie.
Divisiveness? That movie is shit. That movie's so shit.
Troy,
it's not divisive. It's just a bad film. It's a lazy fan film. It's garbage.
Oh, and Morgan is in the chat.
Sorry, Troy. That's Rogue One. The fan film, that was Rogue One.
Not even close.
Yes. Yes.
You are insane. But no, why don't we do some introductions? So as always, my name is Troy Loxton. You can find me on Twitter at Troy Loxton. In the description, you can find the links to our wonderful guests. Today joining us, we have two guys that you guys have seen on the channel before, not totally new faces, Mr. Nolan Dean and Brandon Hanna, the pillow lover. Got to throw that in there.
I love my Wenger's pillow, now available on tpublic.com.
It looks like it would haunt my nightmares.
And instead of counting sheep to go to bed, Brandon just thinks about Copster and Cody, and he just sits there. But no, let's jump right into it, guys. I want to start with just some movie news because I know Nolan and I were really excited about this. This was something that really it changed my day when it came out. Like I was so happy. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Rumor has it, I'm gonna quote that rumor because obviously it hasn't been officially confirmed. Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal, one of the underrated best actors working today, working as Mysterio. Let's get into it, man. Like Brandon, Raul, what's your guys' thoughts?
I'm excited for it. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, so I don't know all that much about Mysterio, but you put Jake Gyllenhaal in any role and I'll watch it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like it's surreal to me, his filmography. Because if you watch it, like maybe his first 3 films are mediocre. After that, every role he brings, he's not Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's a chameleon in his roles. I'm so excited. I'm
surprised after Nightcrawler that he's choosing this. This is pretty.
I will explain that to you right after you give your thoughts.
Yeah, because I think that maybe I have a thing that where they're going with the character, even though I don't know a lot from Spider-Man, but still I would like to have seen. Oh, that would be beautiful. That thing that I imagine that he killed J. Jonah Jameson, and he's like in the Mysterio costume in the Daily Bugle, and his real identity is Lou Bloom. This is a Nightcrawler sequel.
Honestly, I would hate that, but I don't think they will.
Sorry, Troy. Remember in our show, I have pitched like 4 different Nightcrawler sequels because I want to know more about that character. That character has to be analyzed, has to be a film class.
I'm torn because as much as I would love to see another Nightcrawler film, that movie's perfect. That is one of the best films, and I would hate to see them screw it up with a sequel, you know?
So isn't it Riz Ahmed that plays that supporting role in Nightcrawler?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he's also in Venom.
Yeah. So did he fake his death and all of a sudden is working with the symbiote now?
Well, maybe the symbiote saved his life.
Or maybe his twin brother.
I have been dying to chat about Mysterio for so freaking long.
So let's do it, Nolan. I want your thoughts. We haven't been able to do this yet. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Raul, I think you're going to like the idea of Mysterio because you're a big Wizard of Oz fan, and that's kind of what Mysterio is. He's Quentin Beck. He was this like special effects Hollywood wizard who could never make it into the spotlight, and one time he gets fired off a movie set, and he uses his like talent with special effects to create illusions that mess with Spider-Man's head. He even pretended to be him at one point. And I think the great thing about Mysterio is that you have so much visual potential to do with this character, and they better have the freaking fishbowl head. If they do not have the fishbowl head for Mysterio in this movie, I will riot.
And you saw that picture by Boss Logic, right? The one that he did with Jake. That looked awesome. That looked really good.
Yeah, and just like with Jake Gyllenhaal's casting, you look at him in like Nightcrawler, that is Quentin Beck right there, like this sort of creepy loner guy. But the thing about Mysterio that works for him that I hope the movie remembers is that unlike the Vulture, Mysterio is not a character that you try and make grounded and realistic, because the best thing about him is like his theatricality. He's always putting on like a performance for everything. And I would describe him sort of as like, I know Morgan Robinson's in the chat. He would like this. Mysterio is kind of like a Vincent Price kind of character, very theatrical. He loves to make a big scene of things.
Oh, now Morgan had an orgasm.
Yep. So think like the Wizard of Oz crossed with like an extraterrestrial kind of guy. It's like all the stuff I've seen with Mysterio is he's usually pretending to be an alien invader. So they've got a really interesting angle they can go with that. And the thing that I saw a rumor about this, apparently he's not going to be a special effects wizard in this movie, but they want him to be like a failed magician, sort of like a Chris Angel or a David Blaine kind of guy. And I can see Jake Gyllenhaal nailing that.
That's amazing. That's
Jake Gyllenhaal, like a Chris Angel dropout. That will be hilarious.
Also, I do want to just quickly say, for anyone,
imagine a commercial of Jake Gyllenhaal with the emo hair, like says "Mind Freak," and then Tom Holland saying the commercial was like, "Oh, skip that."
I do want to quickly say, for anyone that hasn't, these two films you have to watch. Nightcrawler, like we mentioned, one of his great leading performances, whereas in Prisoners, he plays a very straight man detective. And I mean, both of these films are probably one of my favorites of all time. Like they transcend for me.
I'll throw a third one in there. Watch Donnie Darko as well.
Yes.
I need to see that one. I need to see Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko, so good.
Jake Gyllenhaal plays creepy very well, so I think he's going to nail Quentin Beck.
Also, I think that you said, Nolan, how you describe the character. I still feel like, because you have said this for years since I know you, that you wanted Zachary Quinto from Heroes and Star Trek as Mysterio.
Yeah, I always thought Zachary Quinto would be great.
Because I don't know if you watch Heroes, but the way that you describe Quentin Beck, that's Sylar.
Yeah.
But without the powers.
True, and I love Zachary Quinto, but Jake Gyllenhaal is like another level.
Yeah, I know. Especially because Zachary Quinto became a douchebag after being in Heroes and Star Trek.
Just like Mysterio would be.
Now, do you guys think... Now, for title-wise, I always assumed that they're probably going to do Spider-Man Graduation for the title for this next film. Skip right to that, because it probably will take place after the events of Avengers 4, when... and that goes into a whole nother theory of how that movie's going to end. But I do think it's like Spider-Man Graduation. Now, do you think Michael Keaton has also been kind of announced to reprise his role, right? As the Vulture?
Yeah. Sinister Six. They're doing Sinister Six.
I have the title for the Spider-Man sequel. Spider-Man Ash Wednesday.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions would be cool.
No.
Yeah, that's the storyline, yeah. Now, and that really, I think our opinion on this could change, especially when we find out what happens in Venom later this year. But could you imagine, because we have Scorpion, the Vulture, now Mysterio, who's the last one that they introduced?
Shocker and Tinker as
well. Yeah. And then if we have Venom and the rumored Woody Harrelson Carnage, can you imagine all of those actors going against Tom Holland? Michael Keaton, right? Jake Gyllenhaal, Woody Harrelson, Tom Hardy. Oh my! Like that's the coolest Sinister Six cast I could ever imagine.
I would love that, but I'm not sure they're going to bring Venom and Carnage into the MCU. I think those last two Sinister Six members are probably going to be Kraven the Hunter and Doc Ock.
I can see that, and if anyone's listening, Marvel, David Harbour would be an incredible Kraven.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Sorry, I know that, but David Harbour has the body to be Doc Ock.
Oh, also, I want to just say, our friend
Ock,
Jonathan Peck in the comments said that his favorite Jake Gyllenhaal performance is Brokeback Mountain, and that is another really, really good film.
That's the one when I realized I was queer.
Hey, it was what was that Bubble movie? I fell in love with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy.
No.
He's graduated from Bubble Boy to Mysterio.
And I know you're gonna laugh, but when I noticed Jake Gyllenhaal was when I saw The Day After Tomorrow. I was like, I like this actor.
That movie is underrated. I love Day After Tomorrow.
I loved it also.
Troy, did you ever play like that PS1 Spider-Man game from like 2000?
Yeah,
I had this on my phone when I was running when I saw the casting.
Spider-Man 2 also.
If they have a Mysterio fight
God.
like in that game, that's going to be awesome.
I played the Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 2 game so many times, and I could never pass the Mysterio level when Spider-Man has to get to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Oh, you just have to hit the webs like right at the right second.
Sorry, Nolan. I never passed that level. It's still on my memory card.
Talking about video games too, quickly. That new PS4 Spider-Man game looks incredible. Looks so damn good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna buy a
that
PlayStation
day
4.
one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Raul, I'm saving up my money. I'm gonna buy the Spider-Man PS4 bundle and finally get into gaming.
Yeah, I haven't known a PlayStation since my PlayStation 2, like 15 years ago. That's how
50 years ago.
Yep.
I believe that, Raul. I believe that.
Yes, Nolan. You were like 2 years old.
I'll take being young.
Brandon, me, and Nolan were 2 years old. It wasn't just him.
Was he? Brandon, you look about 30, mate.
Oh!
It's the facial hair. Like that's a good thing.
Oh, Brandon. Mm-mm.
No, it makes sense. I think people think I'm 30 all the time.
At least you don't get carded. I still get carded at the cinema.
Well, when I shave, I get carded at the bar. I don't get carded at the movies anymore.
I have never been ID'd at a movie theater. I went to go see Evil Dead in 2013. They didn't ID me, and I was like super young.
They ID'd me to go see A Quiet Place.
Troy, you're in Canada. In Mexico, they don't card. I went to see Scream 3 and I was 9 years old.
Yeah. Canadians really don't care.
Turned out, Raul.
Yeah, man.
You're one Ghostface mask away from a killing spree.
But yeah, so Mysterio, I think it's going to be incredible. Was there any kind of final thoughts you guys had on that, or kind of theories about how you think his storyline is going to play out?
Well, with the whole failed magician thing, they've said that's going to happen. Like Mysterio, the first battle is going to be in the London Bridge with him and Spider-Man. So he's like going on a field trip and stuff. Story-wise, another friend of ours, Brian Hurst, was talking about it. Because Doctor Strange exists in this universe, he thinks that Mysterio is just going to be like magic right from the start. I hope they don't do that because the appeal of Mysterio is that he's all smoke and mirrors, and that could encourage a bit more audience participation as opposed to just making him bland like the Doctor Strange villains with a forehead.
I wouldn't hate that because Doctor Strange, even through like Thor Ragnarok and like the little appearances he's had, he's a great like supporting character, assuming that he's one of the ones they save at the end of Avengers 4.
And
can you imagine Spider-Man just goes up to Doctor Strange like, hey, I'm fighting this Mysterio guy, and Doctor Strange just doesn't take him seriously.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jordan. Hey, I saw you in the chat there, so I wanted to say hi. Thank you for watching.
Jordan's a friend of mine.
Oh, cool. I think that you can do, talking about Doctor Strange, I forget the name of this character, but he's a Mexican actor. He's right now on the TV show Star. Remember that he said that he went to that school and he learned the powers of the wizards to be healed? of his back.
Oh, yeah.
What if you can put out that Mysterio went to the school and he got kicked out in like the first 3-4 days? And
I would hate that. Yeah, that could work.
That could be the lead in to the MCU, and you can put out like a flashback scene that Doctor Strange wanted to teach him, and then he said no, like 5 points less to Mr. Beck, like something.
I don't see Quentin Beck traveling to the Himalayas.
No.
Well,
I also have a theory that
maybe he went to the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York. He got a quick class. Yeah.
I have a theory that he became Mysterio because his cinephile YouTube channel got demonetized. He loves practical effects. He hates the new Star Wars movies. They ruined his childhood. That's going to be our Mysterio.
Hey, you know who I want to know his opinion? Peter Parker, because of all the movie like Aliens and like Empire Strikes Back. I want to know what his thoughts on the terrible film Solo. I want to know if he hated it as much as I did.
How many movie references will Peter Parker make with Mysterio there?
Sorry. Peter Parker cannot say nothing against Disney because he's a Disney character.
That's true. He might get sniped down if he says anything bad.
Well, I'll say this: I didn't receive my Disney check in the mail this week.
I need mine. I need some new jeans. Like Disney, give me.
Sorry, I'm getting mine because I like Solo.
Oh, I get mine every week.
I'm signed by Kathleen Kennedy. That's how much I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah, I adore Kathleen Kennedy.
She's great.
I'm just this beta male that'll just do everything she says, like Ryan Johnson, you know.
Shots fired.
No, I'm only being sarcastic. I heard that online the other day, and I was like, this guy's out of his mind. But, I really do. I support Kathleen Kennedy 100%. She's awesome. Yeah. She's produced some of the greatest films we've ever seen.
I have a Back to the Future poster here, and the fact that that's one of the first films she did, insane.
Also Poltergeist and E.T.
Yeah. Well, yeah, E.T. I was just gonna say I have another poster of that.
Kathleen Kennedy brought so much joy to the fans by hiring Ryan Johnson and giving us more Raylo.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Honestly,
okay. This chat is shut down.
Okay. I do want to mention, because that's a great segue. I was thinking about this, and we'll do Deadpool 2 at the end. I want to jump right into Solo. I think because of the reaction of The Last Jedi, that's what ruined Solo.
Not only that, did you saw the box office? I just saw it in a tweet. It got 83 million. That's super below expectations. Expectation was like 120.
It's so weird because like there was a point Solo was my most anticipated new Star Wars movie. Yeah. Then when Lord and Miller left, I just lost all interest.
They really, I think what they wanted to do was very much let's give the directors their reign and see what they do. Case in point with The Last Jedi, and the fact that people hated that. I mean, I loved it. I think it's one of the best Star Wars movies. I think the fact that people just hated the change. That Solo is best described as safe. It's a lazy, safe film, and for me, I was devastated when I watched it because I wanted to see something new, and we got also spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen it. Like, what's your last name? I don't have one. Let's call you fucking Solo. Are you kidding me?
That was dumb. That was dumb.
It could have been worse. He could have been like downing drinks out of red Solo cups.
Yep. Product placement. Michael Bay.
I see you in the comments, TJ. Nice to see you. Thanks for watching. Yeah, man. Like, let's get into it. So
there was a
Brandon,
couple moments like that. Yeah.
Question: how can you watch the comments? I
have my phone. I have my phone right here.
Okay. Yeah. He has his evil twin.
My evil twin. Yeah. I do want to know though. So I know where Nolan stands on this film. Raul, obviously, you're just garbage and you liked it. Brandon, what did you think of Solo?
Bitch, what?
I'm gonna have to see it a couple more times, but I thought it was just okay.
Okay.
There was parts in it where I was just shaking my head, like with the what's your name? Han. Han what? I don't know. I don't really have anybody. Oh, we'll go Solo then. It's like, that's dumb. And then like
because
there's like
Han Loner was just too on the nose. Like
yeah. And then there was like a couple other stuff, like small things that like I didn't know how to feel about. Like when you see like that Join the Empire propaganda and it's playing the Imperial March. I was like, what?
I thought that was kind of interesting though, because we had never seen anything like that.
I think that was a Lord and Miller edition.
Yeah, that was a meta joke. That was a meta joke.
The coolest scene in the movie is the train scene, and you want to know why? Because that's Lord and Miller's scene. They took that exactly from what they filmed.
I wanted to ask that. Make your bets, because I heard a rumor there's only one scene in the final cut of the Lord and Miller.
It has to be that train sequence.
I think that the scene that is in the cut is when Han is facing that worm lady Proxima.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I think that's a Lauren Miller scene, because that scene is practically weird, but it's weird in a funny way. Mm-hmm. That feels like Lauren Miller.
I will admit there are things in Solo that I liked. I'm not right. There are definitely like the scenes, how it was built, the costume design, all of that was done really, really well.
It was beautiful looking.
It was beautiful. It was
better than Rogue One.
No, Rogue One's great.
Hey, it is great, but I will admit, Raul, that I did like the set design and stuff in Han Solo more than Rogue One, because Rogue One was very basic and it looked dull, whereas Han Solo did have a lot of cool things in it. But no, man, like
especially Troy, like the things you're just saying, for a rush production, because they reshot everything. I was impressed on the cinematography, the makeup, the dress design. That lady that she's singing with that gold dress, and that dress that Kira is wearing, I was like, damn, Emilia Clarke looks hot. I was like,
she was great. I thought Emilia Clarke, even in all the interviews she's had,
I thought she was gonna suck because of Terminator Genesis.
I will say her performance was good. What they did with that character was so wish-washy. Like she's on this side, and that was so abrupt when she just shows up with Paul Bettany. I was like,
yeah.
Oh,
like talk about it being a small universe.
Even though I like the movie,
right.
Paul Bettany's character was not necessary at all. He was only there for 2 scenes. Yeah,
not
Paul
necessary at all is how I would describe this whole movie.
Oh, and even though I like the movie, I know that it's an unnecessary movie. I agree with that. We didn't need it.
No. I disagree. I think it could have been a necessary movie if they would have done it right. You know, like if they would have actually stuck to the vision from day one, I think it could have been a great standalone film, better than Rogue One. Because the character of Han Solo and the side characters that they had, I was intrigued. I thought Lando was definitely not as used as much as he should be. I think if they do a Lando film, that could be really, really good because the character is great. But I did even that. What was that robot's name in the film? I didn't like it one bit.
Oh,
I thought
my
she was
God!
Small. Like,
sorry, L3 had more character. She was more funny than that piece of garbage that is K2SO.
Oh, okay. So here's a good.
She was fine. She was fine.
Sorry, in the theater, I would love to go to the tape back in Texas, and I will bring it. Like how I was so happy, everybody was going, "Oh, the fucking robot just died!" Me and my sister, fucking yes, we hated that fucking robot so much. That K2SO. Sorry,
I do. We did have a question in the comments here from Jonathan, and I think it's actually a good point we can talk about. He said that one important thing a lot of people are talking about is that this was Lawrence Kasdan's swan song before his retirement. What did you think about his legacy might be after Solo? Lawrence Kasdan's an incredible writer. I think he, and that's another thing. When you have a script for a film, the final film isn't going to be exactly right.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Lawrence Kasdan at all for Solo. I think he did a great job, and his son. I thought his son was great. It was just very questionable choices, I thought.
For all we know, the script could be completely different.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing that I wanted also to say, because even Chris said it, it doesn't feel very Kasdan.
But the whole reason they brought on Ron Howard was to
because he was
keep the movie more true to the script. I thought the reason Miller was because they strayed from the script.
Sure. But so, that's fair. That's fair.
But I think I think the movie could have benefited from maybe if Lord and Miller were involved in the writing process with Kasdan and his son, because if you look at films like Empire and Force Awakens, Kasdan always had someone to balance him out, whether it be George Lucas or J.J. Abrams. And this one, it was just kind of him and his son just doing their thing. And I think maybe it could have benefited from a third party coming in. And
TJ commented, he said, Rogue One and this is incredibly both unnecessary. Well, Rogue One was the worst in the sense that there was zero characters. Donnie Yen.
I love you, TJ. I love you.
And I respect that. I agree that in Rogue One, they didn't develop the characters as much as they should have, because they were very one note. Donnie Yen was the exception. I thought they did really, really well.
They were developed enough for me.
And his debate was that Lando and L3 were at least what we had in Solo compared to Rogue One, which I respect that opinion. Yeah.
And this is my problem, and even Brandon knows this. Is one of the first talks that we had when we met each other. My biggest problem with Rogue One is now because Disney said we can make money of whatever. Now, if you want to know more about the characters, buy the fucking book. Buy the book about Cassian Andor. Buy the book about Jyn Erso. Buy the book about Tony Jen.
That's the kind of book adaptation that I hate.
But that's
the thing. Thank you, Nolan, because you're a writer. Please give me your opinion of this, because I hate that. Because when Chris Thomas said, I was like, when we watched the original trilogy, we didn't need to read special books to know more about the characters before seeing the movie.
Once Disney got the hands on Star Wars, they did what Disney does best, and that's oversaturate the market. It doesn't matter what form of art it is. We are going to have books, comics. Like I have a whole comic case of all the new Star Wars comics. I haven't read them yet because I don't have the fucking time, but I have them, and like there's so much, and I think they those are unnecessary. Like if you're writing a movie, the details you want in that film should be in the movie. It shouldn't be like you have to read chapter 6 of this book to understand more about this one scene. You know, sure, it's going to be cool to have and it's good reference, but you shouldn't have it. You know, it should be in the film. That's what makes a lot of these films great. But yeah, Nolan, what's your opinion on that? Being someone that writes and whatnot.
I would only see. I would only use the read the book argument if the movie was based off of a book. Like that's the reason why I like Harry Potter. I can go back and read the books, but I'm not the biggest fan of Fantastic Beasts.
And I mean, say what you want to say about John Campea, because I know he's very diverse. One thing he said that's always stuck to me is that the first rule for a filmmaker isn't to adapt the book. It's to make a good film. And I've agreed with that. I think, you know, a film, it really depends. If you're doing like a Harry Potter series, yeah, try to make it as close as you can. But
it can get hard to do that with the size of these bloody things.
Yeah, that's fair.
Standing up for your fellow Canadian, Troy.
hey, I have to.
He's a good Canadian boy, that Campea.
Yeah, he's not that bad.
No, and like, for example,
let's say there's a reason he's not on Movie Talk anymore.
Yeah, Brandon, like, also, what is your opinion of, like, with that particular reason of the books, and you have to see the TV shows? Because now we're going, I'm going to lead in because Brandon is his turn, the Darth Maul situation.
Yeah.
Okay. When I saw Solo,
I love that.
Part of my theater was saying, huh? He's alive? Me? I saw Star Wars Rebels. I already knew he was alive.
Also,
even though I have never seen Clone Wars.
Also, I rolled my eyes so much at that Darth Maul scene. It was just blatant, bland, empty fan service for a character I don't even like.
I like Darth Maul, but I can agree with Nolan. That was fan service to the maximum. It was for people that watch the TV shows, for people that read the books, and say, hey, we're acknowledging this other part of the universe.
Okay, but I will debate, and before Brandon kind of gets into his thoughts, I will say, personally for me, I like the Darth Maul scene because it did one thing. It pretty much, for me, included the prequels a little bit more into the main storyline. And that's what I appreciated, because I'm a prequel apologizer. I like those films. And I liked that to say it was unnecessary and fan service, sure. My dad, because I went and saw it with him after the movie. He didn't even know that was Darth Maul. He's like, who's that guy? I'm like, well, it's fucking Darth Maul, obviously, with the horns and shit. So it was. I think it left a lot of audiences confused, and I think that was one of my biggest problems with Solo. Is it gave us more questions than answers.
You will say that
Darth Maul was CGI in the movie, not practical. Like the practical look of Darth Maul is really cool. So why go for a CGI Maul?
I didn't catch that.
He was not Ray Park.
Ray Park was credited though, so I don't know
Ray Park
exactly.
played him, but it was a different voice actor.
Well, Sam Witwer did the voice.
It was the small Star Wars champion. Yeah, Sam Witwer.
That is amazing. I'm happy that he got to be in a film. Like that's awesome. That's really cool. But I don't know. So Brandon, go into that. Like, what's your whole opinion on the book to adaptation with Star Wars and like what your thoughts
shows, the Dharma scene.
Yeah. I mean, I mainly watch the movies, and then if something interesting happens in the books or on Rebels, I'll catch up some other way. But yeah,
also, in the comments they were saying that he wasn't CGI, that was actually Ray Park. So I'm gonna have to watch the movie again to see, but
it looked like CGI.
Yeah,
with the whole hologram effect, they could have polished it up a bit and it made it look CGI. Maybe I'm gonna have to watch it again.
I'm gonna not want to, but I will.
Just watch the scene on YouTube when it comes out on Blu-ray.
I'm not a fan of all these different books. It's like, oh, read this to find out more about Jyn Erso's mother. She's actually an amazing character. But I will say I loved Rogue One, and the development of the characters in that movie worked for me. I felt an emotional impact when every single one of them died.
Me too.
So
I'm on your side on that.
It worked for me. What could I say?
I'll say one thing in regards to books, and I'll use a Harry Potter comparison again. I saw the Harry Potter movie first before I read the books, and the movies were good on their own, but they made me want to read the books. With the Star Wars thing, it feels like you have to read the books to get the development that you should have gotten in the movie, and I don't like that idea for book practices at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point.
That's like doing a prequel book about the Wizard of Oz. Like specifically on the wizard.
Okay.
And he works fine in that.
So this is actually a good segue into something I wanted to ask you guys.
That's the Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
The one that we all pretend never happened.
Hey, I like that movie.
I want to mention though, and that we'll kind of mention this next thing. Before we kind of end our Solo discussion, I do want to get into Boba Fett. Because I think
I haven't even had the time to defend Solo.
I know.
I still got thoughts on the Kessel Run.
Yes, please.
I don't, for sure. I want to still get into that.
Brandon a lot. At least give him 2 minutes.
Yes. Okay.
Brandon has some talk.
Right.
Okay. Well, the Kessel Run thing, I really don't know how I feel about it. The second they like took that shortcut to like go through the cloud and the particulates and where the giant monster thing is and everything, I immediately thought, I was like, did they really just Kobayashi Maru the Kessel Run? Like he just cheats. He takes his shortcut. I mean, given the shortcut was very difficult, they almost died on numerous occasions, but it was still a shortcut. I
didn't feel any like. I felt it was boring. There was no stakes for me in that scene specifically. I don't think it had any stakes. This whole movie just felt bland, like we were saying. For me,
same.
So that one scene, it was cool to see the whole Kessel Run, and then all of that happened. But when Raul mentioned it in like the 3rd or 4th episode of the Monday show, I thought his thing was way more exciting than what actually ended up happening in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because that's the other thing. And if I remember correctly, all the chart marks happened almost, but in a different way. What is the thing that I said? We're gonna learn how he become a smuggler. It happened on the movie. Woody Harrelson will be his teacher. He will die. That happened. How he meet Chewbacca. Even though that wasn't the scene that I wanted, I didn't like that Chewbacca. No. He's a murderer. He's a creature. That's a scene that I didn't like at all.
I didn't like that. I thought that was weird, man. Like oh, let's throw him in. And because I was thinking, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be Chewbacca when they were setting it up, right? I'm like, oh, what? Yeah. I actually maybe thought it was going to be the monster in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like the Rancor or something.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. But then it's like, oh, it's Chewie. And I will say, though, because we haven't really mentioned it, I thought Alden's performance was fine. And I loved the interaction between him and Chewie. I thought that dynamic was done perfectly. Well, I thought that was really cool.
But still, him talking Chewbacca's language?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How do we feel about him speaking Wookiee?
They've kind of implied that in the other movies, so it didn't really bother me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's like, I know a little. It didn't bother me a lot because that's a thing even Nolan said. It was implied that he already knew how to talk to Wookiees. But
so we did get another question in the comments here, and this we can kind of go on after too. What did you guys think of the score?
The score was awesome. John Powell's a freaking genius.
It was okay. It was so much better than the Rogue One.
I love the Rogue One score.
I do too. I
used to do it all the time.
If you want a reason to listen to John Powell music, How to Train Your Dragon, that score is fucking beautiful.
Ooh, is that guy?
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna have to listen to the score on its own outside of the movie, because to me, I'm just hearing all these like Star Wars greatest hits at different moments, and then like there's like that new Han Solo score thrown in that like John Williams did. So I don't know. I have to take a better look at that.
I want to watch it again too because Jonathan also just mentioned, and this is something I didn't know. Apparently, the idol from Raiders of the Lost Ark and the giant crystal skull is in like the background of some of the scenes in Solo.
Can you just leave the crystal skull there and just like never mention it again?
I think the crystal skull is actually in reference to a Han Solo novel that's in Legends now. Actually,
see, I shouldn't have to know this stuff. Han Solo and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Like,
yes. Okay, now going back to the check marks.
Yeah.
And then I remember that I said this. Then we're gonna go into the middle of the film, how he met Lando and he won the Millennium Falcon. It happened in the movie in a different way. I told you in my pitch everything was gonna happen on the same scene. How he met Lando and then how he won the ship. In the movie, he met Lando first. They went to the mission to the Castle Rock, and then he won the ship.
I think him winning it at the end was so dumb. He just like shows up, wins it, and then leaves, and the movie's over.
Yeah.
I was like,
I thought it would have been
like,
better.
that feels like a studio note where it was like, oh, we forgot to have him win the ship. Let's throw it at the end.
Yeah, that's true. That scene felt like they forgot to put out the.
It's like when you forget to put in a section from a school essay right before deadline.
That's so true. That's good. I like that.
And then Kessel Run, check. Yeah. And then at the end, even though it didn't happen, but I told you in my pitch, we're gonna end of Han and Chewie going to Tatooine, parking the Millennium Falcon, getting to the bar, and Greedo, he's walking into the bar, and Obi-Wan and Luke is walking to the other side of the bar. That was my pitch. That never happened. That was my pitch.
I will say, I did like.
You can go to the tape.
Yeah.
That was my pitch.
I wouldn't have hated that if they would have had like a Sebastian stand in for Mark Hamill, you know, the young and I think that would have been awesome. And then they could you imagine this if that scene happened? They had Ewan McGregor and Sebastian Stan, and the Ewan McGregor will then spin off to the Obi-Wan film.
I would have loved that more than the Darth Maul cameo.
Yeah,
there would have to be a time jump though, because they're like 5 to 10 years away from A New Hope.
Yeah, and I will say
I like the Jabba reference, by the way, when they mentioned that.
At the end, one of my main problems of Solo was the setup. There was a lot of setup for a sequel that we know we're never gonna have, especially because of the box office. Because
you know the last time that happened, The Mummy, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
And like I said, talking about the Darth Maul scene, they did set that up for the next film to have Solo versus Darth Maul, right? Like that's what my mind.
They can't have that because Solo doesn't believe in the Force when he meets Obi-Wan and Luke.
Oh, okay, good point.
If he was the villain in an Obi-Wan movie, I would like that.
Yeah,
but then they can't do that either because Maul doesn't meet Obi-Wan again until he sees him on Tatooine in Rebels, and then Obi-Wan kills him.
Yeah.
That's my problem, Brandon. I was going to say that because so technically the Obi-Wan movie is gonna recreate that episode. That's the only story, and half of the fandom they know that story because of Star Wars Rebels.
I don't know if they could start recreating stuff though and have the same story in different media.
Right? Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be called Days of Future Past, and it's going to erase Solo from the timeline.
Oh goodness!
Oh, if I were directing that movie, I will erase Rogue One from the timeline.
I would erase Reylo from the timeline.
Yeah.
Just that shit.
No.
That's for you, Raul.
Okay. Reylo forever.
No. Okay. So.
Okay. I haven't even said the
Yeah.
thing
No,
that I
I
like.
know. That's what I wanted to say. I want Raul. I'll give you the floor. Tell me why you like this film.
Number one, you knew. Everybody knew. Even Troy remembers that episode when we recorded. I was the number one person that was hating this project, especially when we heard about the Lauren Miller thing.
And I was the opposite. I went into this movie wanting to love it.
And because even Nolan said it, that was my same thoughts. My only hope for Solo was for Lauren Miller. And when they got fired, I was like, this movie's gonna suck. It's gonna.
It did suck.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna destroy everything because we already know his story. All of the things that happened in the movie. The only surprise was he had Akira. That was his character we didn't know nothing about.
She was Diet Coke Leia.
Yeah. And we didn't know nothing about the Woody Harrelson character. Like,
also,
we didn't know those.
Sorry, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, wait. But at least this movie made me like these characters. That was my main problem with Rogue One. With Rogue One, I hated Jyn Erso to get stabbed, taking her head off to explode. She was the worst actress in a decade that I have seen. The worst character. Diego Luna's character was the only interesting one, and he was a side character because it was like, oh, where's Star Wars? We have to put out that the female character is the most important one. We don't want the fandom to kill us, so we need to put the focus on this stupid bland actress that is Jyn Erso. And then we get the two Chinese guys. Oh, we know something about the Force, but you need to read our book to get us to understand our characters.
I want Raul to be the marketer for Disney now with that voice.
Raul,
we want you to come see Episode 9.
Raul, I love you, but I want to punch you through my computer screen right now.
And then we get to the guy from Nightcrawler. I'm just the pilot. I'm the Indian guy that is the pilot. And that's all. And then we get to Forrest Whitaker. Save the dream. You can read my book also and see my episodes of Star Wars Rebels. I don't have any character development. Bajin.
Okay, but my debate would be, Raul, what character development did you need for those characters and what they were in the film? Right? They were exactly what the story needed at that time.
I'm gonna go controversial.
Even like we've never had that before. You're Mr. Controversial.
Compare Suicide Squad with Rogue One.
Ooh.
How could you even know?
Wait,
at least Rogue One doesn't have Jared Leto.
Wait.
Come on, Raul.
I will get on my point. I care about Harley Quinn and Deadshot more. Those characters, I like them more. I feel a relationship with them throughout in Rogue One. And I even said it. When Jyn Erso died, I was flipping in the theater. When K2SO died, I was flipping in the theater because I hated these characters. When you see a movie, the most important thing for me, a lot of people say, oh, the cinematography is the thing that I want to see, or I want to see it for the storyline. I want to see it for the characters. For me, if I don't like the characters, I'm not going to like the movie.
This explains why you like Reylo.
What are we, some kind of Rogue One, a Star Wars story?
And with Rogue One, and I have said it many times, I love the Darth Vader scene. That's a scene that I was waiting for 20 years. I was waiting to
Darth Vader cracking jokes.
I will say,
No.
I think it is absolutely obscure for you to compare Rogue One and Suicide Squad.
Wait,
Because Suicide
Even
Squad
I wouldn't do that, and I don't like Rogue One.
Suicide Squad isn't even a movie. It's a long fucking music video. It's not great. Like Rogue One has a great narrative, and it at least builds right into A New Hope and expands those characters. So you're like, now I know what actually happened and what, like, when Princess Leia has.
Rogue One does have a Suicide Squad as the main characters, though. Like, they live up to that name.
That's
yes,
true. That's
because I'm getting to my point. Rogue One, they had a mission. They needed to get to those plans and give it to Leia and die. Because we knew that those characters were going to die. They were not going to survive. Suicide Squad.
That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, wait.
You didn't know they were going to die just because you didn't see them in A New Hope. They could have gotten away safe. So that theory, I think, is not right. Because right, they didn't come out saying, "Hey guys, so we have this movie Rogue One coming out, and they're all going to die at the end." Just so you guys know, don't think that. Right? They didn't say that. We didn't know necessarily they were going to die. It
was pretty logical, Troy, that they were all going to die.
With Star Wars, it's not logical. Star Wars is not a logical film.
Wait.
It didn't have to be.
I get into my point. In Suicide Squad, they killed half of the squad at the end. And then they still went and did their mission, even though it's a little twisted, of saving Viola Davis and blah, 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 and killing the Enchantress. But those two movies are disposable because remember at the end of Suicide Squad. So I failed this mission, and now Viola Davis gives to Bruce Wayne those files of doing the Justice League. So technically, Suicide Squad never happened. Technically, it was a disposable team that was never going to go to the light, and their mission was...
I agree with that, and that's what Han Solo was.
And when Rogue One is a disposable film, and also Solo. Yeah, both of those films are disposable, because with Rogue One, that's a story that you didn't need to know. Rogue One could have been easily a Star Wars Rebels episode, and no one would have cared for it.
That's how I felt about Solo.
Yeah,
and that's another thing. Even Nolan has said it also. Solo, it could have been easily a 3-episode arc in Star Wars Rebels, and that would have been okay.
I think it would have been actually pretty cool, especially with that gang of Woody Harrelson, and I think that would have been sweet.
And also,
it feels like Woody Harrelson just walked onto a Star Wars set.
I was just going to say that. Woody Harrelson's character was Woody Harrelson. I mean, I like I wanted to do well. I love the actor. I think it was great, but like compare that role to what he did in Planet of the Apes last year or whenever that was. That role was like insane compared to him just walking on set. Yeah, I agree. It was peak, I thought.
And so I had my expectations so low because we wrote
low.
Wait, I want to quickly mention, because Jonathan actually made another really good point. He said, when you think about it, Han Solo is like a classic Western where you have the good cowboy, Han Solo, his sidekick, Chewbacca, the girl, whatever her name is, and the natives, which is that Nest gang. In fact, that Infis Nest, or however you pronounce it, their motivation was very similar to the native tribe's motivation, which is to protect civilization from being colonized. I like that. I think that's cool, but they didn't explain that in the film.
They didn't, if they had focused, if this had just been like Han Solo going after the Infis Nest gang, I probably would have loved it.
Yeah.
But it's all the other stuff that just makes it so unfocused for me. Like it felt like 3 different movies happening at the same time.
I agree. Like even like when they're on that train sequence and that other, that whatever, it was that the gang that we're talking about, right? The guys that show up. So I really liked that. I thought that was really cool. But then it kind of just was thrown away.
Yeah, they killed Jon Favreau. He was only there for like 3 minutes. And I like that monkey.
Oh, I really like that guy. That was Jon Favreau?
Yeah, that was Jon Favreau. So going back to Solo, like with Rogue One, I hated that movie so much, and I knew that Solo was gonna suck. But I was ready to hate this movie. I was so ready to destroy it, to make all of the arguments against it. But I'm not gonna say that I loved it. I just said all of the flaws that Solo, and I agree with a lot of the flaws we were just telling about. But I enjoy it. I didn't say that I love it. It
which is awesome.
It's a good Netflix movie. It's a good Netflix movie. It's a good Movie Pass movie. I just Movie Pass last night. I went to see it again.
Okay, a couple things, right? I respect, and I'm actually really happy that you enjoyed this film, because I don't want people to go into films not enjoying them, right? You should enjoy every movie, and the fact that you were able to take out what you did out of Solo is amazing.
And you heard me for 1 year bitching about it. You heard me for 1 year.
So it is a miracle that you did like this film. But I would like to mention, it would have been 100 times better, and I think it would have been a Netflix movie if this was an original story, not set in Star Wars. If they would have done everything the same, but used, it was like a specific sci-fi film with the same storyline, the same kind of sidekick characters, I think it could have been great. But because they tied it into Star Wars and they gave lazy explanations to how Chewie met, his last name, like you said, Darth Maul kind of just showing up, I think it would have been way better if it was its own film. Like if Ron Howard would have made his own kind of sci-fi movie.
Release the Lord and Miller cut.
Yes, I was going to say that in an alternate universe, if we can travel like the Flash to an alternate universe, I would love to see the Lauren Miller cut.
Yeah, but again, that's just the whole Edgar Wright debate. It's like, sure, we could have gotten something, but the fact is we didn't. And the movie we got, for me, was just kind of lackluster. I will see it again. I don't want people to think I totally am going to hate this film, because I wanted to love it. And like I said, the last 2 years, the fact that the lowest rated movie I gave was that Smurfs animated movie, which I gave a 2.5. In the last 2 years,
I like that one.
I saw it with a bunch of kids. That showing was just garbage. But like I've seen over, I think it was like 400 and something films since January of last year. And the fact that Solo was my lowest rated at a 2 out of 5 devastated me. Absolutely devastated me, because I wanted to love it.
No.
I was bored. I checked my watch so many times throughout. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it was boring. That was the biggest thing for me. It didn't have the magic that the Rogue One or even the prequels had, I felt.
Well, that's the other
Troy
thing, because, and I can agree with some things that Troy is saying, but still, I enjoy it. I can see all of the flaws. Of course, my eyes were rolling with how he got his name, the Chewbacca scene, like I said, or the lazy way that they tie in the Darth Maul storyline. The Darth Maul cameo was not necessary at all.
I think it was cool, though.
It was cool, of course, but it's going to confuse the fans even more. The people that they don't see Star Wars Rebels or read the books, they're going to be more confused.
Yeah. And so before we kind of move on, I do want to ask, and Jonathan also said, like, the most important question of all of this, what did you guys think of Alden?
It was okay.
I liked him. He was one of the best parts for me.
I agree. I thought he I loved Hail Caesar too. I really liked that film, and I thought he was amazing in that. And I thought this iteration of Han Solo, it only took me at first it was kind of startling, but as the movie continued, I bought into him as Han Solo and the relationship with Chewie. So I think that was really well done, and I think he deserves the props because everyone absolutely was dreading his casting. And I think with what he was given, he did the best he could do.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good. I actually think that his portrayal of Han Solo was better than Donald Glover's portrayal of Lando.
Lando, right? And that's another thing. I love Childish Gambino or Donald Glover, right? And I just thought he was underused.
Yeah, underused, and I feel like he was doing a really good Billy D. Williams impression, but it didn't do anything for me.
No, if you watch interviews though, when he asked Billy D, he's like, "Hey, what should I do?" His only Billy D was just like, "Play it cool." That's all that's all the advice he gave him. So that's what he did.
No, I think because I really like, and I know I'm gonna sound like the internet, but I really fucking love Childish Gambino as Lando because he was a bright part of the movie. Because I can't even admit that first part of the movie was pretty boring.
I'm more excited because of the thing that just came out recently this week that Donald Glover is going to be in Black Panther 2. That news excites me so much more than him playing Lando.
Is he going to be Aaron Davis in Black Panther 2 though? Like
I don't know.
Davis?
Oh shit! The Miles Morales guy.
Yeah, because he's Miles Morales' uncle in Homecoming, sure.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make him that he's part of Wakanda and then he's gonna go back to Wakanda to get revenge like Killmonger?
I mean,
whoa. Could you imagine if they had Miles Morales and Shuri work together?
I actually
That
thought
would be
that
dope.
at the end of Black Panther, one of those kids could have been Miles Morales.
Well, and I love the idea of having
In
the
Oakland?
Tony Stark,
Yeah, because
Tony Stark
that's
Iron
a good
Man
thing
to the
because-
Miles Morales Black Panther. I mean, I wouldn't want to segregate the race thing, but like I really like the idea of him having Wakandan tech Spider-Man suit instead of the Stark suit. That could
Plus-
be interesting.
Plus,
Because-
Aaron Davis is the Prowler, so the Prowler being in Wakanda would be pretty cool.
At the end of Black Panther, when T'Challa he's seeing that kid, I thought, because going Shakespearean, because Black Panther was the Lion King, going with the Shakespeare thing, I thought that kid was going to be Killmonger's son. I thought that T'Challa will say, hey, I know you're the son of their father that I just killed. I just killed your father, and so I'm going to raise you, trying to redeem myself because of what my father did.
That would be a pretty bad way to end it, though. Like, that kid asked him, who are you? He's like, oh, I killed your father.
Sorry. I love my telenovelas and my drama. I would have loved that ending.
Yeah.
I
Who do you guys
love.
want to direct a Lando film? Should Ryan Coogler come into the Star Wars universe?
I'd rather see Ryan Coogler do something like on the scale of Creed before he steps back into a blockbuster. Even though I love Black Panther, I wouldn't want him to get tied down to it.
Well, and to
Like,
be fair,
himself out.
with Boba Fett and the rumored Obi-Wan, Lando could still be 3 years away, so he could do a little indie before stepping into. I mean, after Black Panther, I guess. Too.
I don't want Ryan Coogler to get Joss Whedoned.
I think they should just do like a Darth Maul movie, and just because I remember that scene coming up in the movie, and I was like, why wasn't that the whole movie? Like Darth Maul running this crime syndicate, like
right? That would have been
that would have
awesome.
been way more interesting than Han Solo. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because like let's say, like you can do a reverse pitch. I think they should have done a Lando movie and make Han Solo the side character.
Yeah.
I would have rather have seen a Lando movie than a Han Solo movie.
Or you should have made the Crimson Dawn, call that movie, instead of being Solo, call it Crimson Dawn, knowing about that society, how they control all of the resources and kill people. And Han Solo and Lando are side characters, but we see everything from the villain's perspective.
Like I said, I think what I would like to see from Star Wars films is like if they were to say, hey, Troy, here, what Star Wars movie do you want to make? I would set it with like a bunch of kids trapped under, it's the same kind of pitch I had if I did a Marvel movie. Make like a bunch of unknown characters trapped in the background of one of our best scenes and seeing them trying to struggle to get out of a big war or to get out of something. I'm sick and tired of seeing these characters that we have already seen.
You want to do Dunkirk a Star Wars story, essentially?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I just want a movie that doesn't take place. It could take place in like the war of Rogue One or whatever, but like I want to see characters that we don't know anymore. Like the fact that we're getting a Boba Fett movie, I think is ridiculous. I don't care if James Mangold is doing it. I think it's stupid.
I'd rather see Ryan Johnson's trilogy than another spin-off.
Yeah, I agree.
I just imagined your pitch. You see that scene from Revenge of the Sith, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? And then we see Anakin killing that kid, and we see another group of kids seeing that death.
There we go.
You see kids running away from the Jedi Academy.
And that's how the movie starts.
Raul, that's one of your best pitches.
Yeah. That's awesome, Raul.
I'll take that over your Reylo fan fiction.
I don't write Reylo fan fiction. JJ already bought it.
That's awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, and Troy, that thing that you just said and the thing that I just said right now, that's the thing that I imagined when I saw Revenge of the Sith. I thought we're gonna see like a novel or like a comic of seeing Jedi kids surviving when the Empire started.
Yeah.
Because even on the game, The Force Unleashed,
Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer. There's a cutscene where Darth Vader says a lot of children survive when the Jedi fall. So we need to hunt them down. And he sends Sam Witwer to kill all of the Jedis in the game because I played that first one. Mm-hmm. I played the first Force Unleashed. And so that would have been a great spinoff of seeing a Sith trying to kill all of the remaining Jedi. And also, that same picture I just gave you, that could be the Obi-Wan spinoff. You could see Obi-Wan already 10 years in the desert. He hears a message from a student, hey, Master Obi-Wan, we need your help. And he goes to save those kids. Mm-hmm. But then Darth Vader, this could be another amazing scene. You can say, when I left you, I was the learner, but now I am the master. Because Darth Vader, even though when he became Darth Vader, he was still an apprentice of the dark side. You can put out that 10 years later, he's now the master of the dark side. Or you can put out that he's still a learner. And like they made each other in A New Hope. Now he's the master.
Well, in that Rogue One timeline, that's when Vader's in his prime, right? So I can see something like that. But let's segue into Boba Fett. We can talk about Deadpool a bit because unless you guys have any other kind of final thoughts about Han Solo?
I have a couple thoughts.
I'm all soloed out, so you go right ahead.
What was I just gonna say about? I think the only reason that they made Han Solo was because it was a Lawrence Kasdan passion project.
Well, and he's wanted to do it since.
Yeah, I think when they hired him on to do Force Awakens, it was kind of like a one for you, one for me situation where he was like, "I'll co-write Force Awakens, but I also want to do a Han Solo movie," and they said, "Okay." It's interesting. And then Rogue One was pitched by John Knoll, I believe, who is like the inventor of Photoshop and like the guy running ILM. So they're like, yeah, anything you want to.
that explains how Grand Moff Tarkin looked in Rogue One.
Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with the side stories, the spin-offs from here on out, because I think they're just gonna kind of start winging it from this point. So I hope they don't start doing that.
Well, and that kind of goes into like Boba Fett too. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, unless
I'm not looking forward to it.
Jordan said something in the comments here, which I really, really enjoyed. He said, Boba Fett works in the context of it being a bounty hunter movie. If they go that route, the potential is endless. Mm-hmm. Don't make Boba Fett a character piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would like that. If James Mangold was making a bounty hunter film, I would be all about that. But after seeing Solo, I am not looking forward to Boba Fett. I like the obscurity mystery behind his character. And I think what makes him cool is that we don't know anything about him, and he shows up, he wrecks ass, and then he dies. Right?
Yeah, and also Boba Fett, he was never interesting. So he wasn't really a movie at all.
He's no good
to me.
He
was created for the Christmas special, right?
Yeah.
So
Boba Fett, he's a side character more than Captain Phasma.
But Captain Solo.
I mean, we might as well greenlight a Watto movie at this point.
or
a movie.
Also,
John Schnepp and Mark Ellis was a Salacious Crumb spinoff.
Mm-hmm. Also, shout out to Langley, who's in the comments.
Nolan, remember that creature that Jabba had that says, that's Salacious Crumb.
Yeah.
This is why I'm more of a Harry Potter guy than a Star Wars guy.
Or a Max
Rebo. I will say, like, I the lead up to The Force Awakens, because that was the first Star Wars movie I got to experience in theaters. And with that movie, I cried my eyes out when I saw the Lucasfilm scene. The theater went nuts. When Last Jedi came around, I was saying, when that logo came, and by the end of that movie, I was just so emotionally invested. I was like, wow, this is a Star Wars film. And the crowd, even when the screenings I went to that were loving it. Solo, when the screen and the Lucasfilm logo came up, it was very interesting. The whole theater was silent, and then one lady's like, "Woo!" And then she kind of looked around and was like, "Oops, no, we're not doing this."
Yep.
So it was awkward.
We're surrounded.
In my screening, it was like half full. Only 3 people clapped in the Lucasfilm logo, and I was like, "Ooh."
Also, before we get into Deadpool, what do you guys think of the scripture or whatever at the beginning instead of how they did it in Rogue One.
Yeah, I don't know.
That fluid. I was like partial about it. It was.
For me, I was okay because I think it was needed because that was the problem with Rogue One. We needed like an introduction. Like,
but also it's like
the cold open.
It's like, oh yeah, a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Now, here's information. Here's information. Here's information. Here, this is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. It's like, just show us. That's why I didn't really care for it because it's like, could you just have explained that throughout the movie instead of the title cards?
And I will give Solo a 7 out of 10.
I will give it.
I will not buy it on Blu-ray. I will see it on Netflix.
I'll buy it on Blu-ray just for the collection, but I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Sorry,
4 out of 10 for me.
I have my collection.
I can't afford to buy movies that I don't like. So
no, Nolan. What you got to do is you got to go. You know those cheap bins of Blu-rays. Find one that has the slipcover, and then go find Star Wars Han Solo. Put that in the slipcover and pay $5 for it.
That's fucked up.
I don't think they have that in the UK.
Wait, they don't have that in Canada either. I don't want you guys to get bad ideas from all the wonderful Blu-rays I have sitting beside me.
Troy,
I pre-ordered Ready Player One a month ago, and that was like a treat for me.
Troy, I'm sneaky, but I'm not that sneaky.
I don't condone that behavior at all.
I don't either. It's very bad behavior. So don't do that.
You know what Solo's name reminded me of the most, like writing-wise? You know, like when they tried to introduce a villain on the first season of Gotham, and it's like, my name is Jonathan Mr. Freeze.
Oh,
it was that kind of on-the-nose dialogue.
I think I would give it a 6 out of 10 simply because like I walked out at least going, yeah, I enjoyed my time at the theater, so I give it a fresh rating. Yeah. But I also wanted to point out there's a couple of like more Easter eggs. Like I think one of the aliens from Memphis Nest was one of the Saw Gerrera's radicals from Rogue One.
Oh yeah,
the alien guy with like the face thing, yep. And he like that like Bodhi meets, and he's like just. Like
one of them was Warwick Davis as well, because this is the only way he gets work.
Yeah, and
that's awful.
I heard they tried to get Vern Troyer, but he didn't answer his phone calls.
He's already dead.
Anyways. But also, I didn't catch this at first, but I read someone's comment online that, you know how they made L3 the navigation computer for the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
They like built her in. And so it like makes sense for like in the original trilogy when like the navigation computer on the Millennium Falcon starts giving, I think like either C-3PO or R2 a really hard time because L3 is super sassy. So of course she would give them a hard time once they start trying to communicate with her.
And also,
I thought that was a pretty cool little
a connection and Easter egg. I love when Han Solo shot Woody Harrelson first.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a good thing.
That was definitely a Lord of the Miller edition.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's get into my 4th favorite movie of the year. I've seen this movie 5 times. Deadpool 2.
Saw it once.
What did you guys think?
I loved it. I loved it. I expected to hate it, and it blew me away.
Thought it was okay.
For me, it was okay.
Okay,
Ryan Reynolds is sexy as hell, and he is a Canadian national treasure, so I am with you on that.
There's one thing in this film that I was blown away by, and I will never, like, this is the coolest thing to ever happen in a superhero movie ever. No. How the hell did they get that hit? How the hell?
That's great,
and also that was absolutely insane. I cried my eyes out when I saw that.
That was
I was like, I mean, sure, does it mess with the timeline? No one gives a shit. Right? Like,
yeah. The X-Men timeline is one of
Deadpool.
No.
Exactly, yeah.
The X-Men timeline doesn't make any sense. No one cares.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense if you pretend Wolverine Origins never happened.
No.
It kind of makes sense.
Before Logan, and everyone knows that because I've said it so many times, before Logan, I watched every X-Men film. And if you do it in order watching it, they do make sense.
Yeah, Logan takes place in the same timeline that he ends up in at the end of Days Future Past, just like 15 years later or some shit.
Well, exactly. So if you watch it in the order,
I
found something online that explained it, right? Like there's a little, like maybe one or two things throughout the series that contradicts each other. But other than that, they do really fit well in this.
Like minor inconsistencies.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I wanna just say like Deadpool 2 for me was way better than the first. I loved this movie, man. The fact that I was able to see it so many times is like, just for me, it was so funny. The cameos, Juggernaut was done incredible. I thought he was great. The whole dynamic with Cable, and I would like to say, since we mentioned Logan, if you parallel the storylines of Deadpool 2 and Logan, especially with Deadpool 2 opening up with the figure going around with the Logan music playing when he dies, they do steal a lot of the storyline from Logan, and I think that is hilarious, especially with Deadpool trying to be a father with Julian, with just all of the different little things. The parallels I thought were amazing, and that's something I caught maybe on my third viewing of the movie.
If New Mutants comes out like later, was Deadpool 3 going to be like a horror movie?
Oh, I would love that.
God, I hope New Mutants.
You just have Deadpool showing up in the Pennywise sewer.
Yes.
That movie,
I agree.
Bill Skarsgård was in Deadpool too, so
I agree with Jordan. He said, I thought that the first one was more clever and the plot was more cohesive. I agree with Jordan because that's my same opinion. I like Deadpool 1 so much because it was a surprise. It had better jokes. The jokes in this one was pretty logical.
Regarding it.
Yeah, I mean,
I have two questions.
Yeah.
One, is dubstep still a thing? What Sharknado are we on?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think because
the audience helped with my Deadpool 2 screening.
Yes, I agree. It depends on who you see it with, because if you're like, because I saw it a couple times in like an empty theater, and it's fun, but you need that. It's like any comedy you go see, right? You want that audience interaction. But to counter what Raul was saying, I think, and I guess Jordan here too, is that sure, the first one had more of a complex storyline, and Deadpool 2 was very basic, right? But I think you needed a basic storyline for how crazy the character of Deadpool is and how off the charts he gets. You can't have some, Oscar-worthy script storyline of like all these different things happening. It's, you have Deadpool, he needs to go from point A to B and stop this guy. And it's not about that storyline. It's about the references and stuff he's making along the way and the characters that show up. Especially the scene when X-Force comes down. That's ripped right out of X-Force #1 when Zeitgeist saw them die. And the fact that he saves Peter at the end, I thought was hilarious. But I agree. I think to counter that argument of that it was not as good as the first, I think the storyline, sure, I'll give you that. It wasn't as cool as the first movie. But again, I didn't really want it to be. I thought it gave us exactly what it needed to make it entertaining.
There was one Easter egg I saw where they were talking. There's a part in Deadpool 2 where they have a news thing, and one of the bylines says, Christopher Plummer turns down role in Deadpool 2.
Did it actually say that?
Yeah. I read that.
Oh my God. Thank you. I didn't realize that, and I'm glad they mentioned that. In the ticker thing at the bottom there, right? I remember seeing that scene, and I remember looking because I'm like, oh shit, there's going to be something here. But I must have missed that. That's genius.
That's funny.
Wow, that's amazing. That makes me love this movie even more.
But I
don't think TJ Miller's going to be in the next one.
Oh, of course he's not going to be.
Because he's a freaking idiot.
I enjoyed Deadpool 2 a lot. I really like a lot of scenes. I'm a little disappointed that Juggernaut, he didn't say his quote from The Last Stand. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
No. That was an internet meme. That's not something the Juggernaut says.
Sorry, Nolan.
I
love that scene in The Last Stand. And so I was a little disappointed.
I liked The Last Stand. I thought that movie was great. But I did think that they should have got Vinnie Jones to voice Juggernaut in this movie. I think that would have been cool.
I thought Julian Dennison was going to turn out to be Pyro, because Pyro's Australian in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I had no idea Fire Fist existed.
Fire Fists.
Yeah, me neither, because everything was exactly like Pyro. The way that they stumble into him, it was the same scene in
Pyro
Extra
only
2.
controls fire.
Yeah,
Doesn't generate
actually,
fire.
Pyro cannot create fire. He can only manipulate and control it, actually. That's why he has the lighter in his wrist.
Thank you.
Fair.
Thank you, comic book nerd. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need that scene of Homer Simpson going nerd.
That's me, nerd.
No, that's great. I thought even the whole reason with Cable and the fact that the reason he's coming back is because Julian ended up killing his family. I thought that was great. Having the blood on the teddy bear just soaked it in a little bit more. And the fact that Cable did say, "Look, I'll give you 30 seconds. That's all you get." And the fact that Deadpool was able to, achieve that.
It was pretty much Looper.
I'm pretty happy that kid from Hunt for the Willow People, he got a great role in Deadpool 2, and I hope he gets better roles after Deadpool 2.
Except if you're listening, that kid from where is he from?
Hunt for the Willow People?
No, but like the actual. I don't want him to be stereotyped as that role, because Wilder People and Deadpool 2, I thought he had very similar things in both characters. That's true. I don't want him to be like that same character in each thing. Give him a thing. Also, the joke he made about fat people not being superheroes, it killed me. I thought that was great.
Yeah, because you know that I like my fat people being main characters, and so that was a good joke.
If you're looking for that, you should follow my friend Destiny. She's a fellow author at Fables and Fae. She's writing like fat people protagonists, and she's doing pretty cool work.
Well, especially like we just need more fat people characters that aren't just falling and farting.
Mm-hmm. Also, I love that a lot of people I read on Tumblr and the internet that sees people say, "I'm gonna start this." People shipping now Colossus and Deadpool. And
Jordan, I agree. Jordan actually just made another really, really good point. He said Ryan Reynolds deserves more credit because of the dramatic moments in Deadpool. I thought that he was great in both movies when he did dramatic moments. When he's in the purgatory, and I've seen a lot of people say that this was like a vision or something. No, he was in purgatory.
That was purgatory, yeah.
I was waiting for Vanessa. When those scenes hit, they hit. And the dynamic between those, like the two of the couple, I thought was done perfectly.
Yeah, because the first time I saw Deadpool, I was like, what? Like, the Vanessa and Deadpool relationship was the best thing in Deadpool 1, and then you kill her off in the first 10 minutes?
Well, and the fact, though, that, like, he couldn't get
barely in the first one, too.
Well, that's true, yeah. And the fact that he couldn't get into purgatory because of his healing abilities, I'm like, there's so much there. There's so many different layers that I just loved in Deadpool 2.
This is the movie that I wanted Kingsman 2 to be, and just wasn't.
I didn't hate Kingsman 2, but I can see where you're going with that. I didn't like what they did with Harry in that film, but I thought it was fun.
And Merlin too, but
and Elton John.
That's another video.
Elton John was awesome. So never just Elton John.
Weirdly enough, Taron Egerton is going to play Elton John in the Elton John biopic.
Elton John was the most forced cameo that I have seen in a movie in a long time.
Darth Maul.
He was a supporting character.
He was a supporting character. Yeah, I liked it though.
Yeah,
anyway,
can we talk about that end credit scene?
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
You know, if you ask Ryan Reynolds about it now, he refuses that Green Lantern happened. He's actually pretending that was great. It's amazing.
But it creates a pretty meta, super meta, like, it's not a plot hole, but if you really think about it, because in Deadpool 1, he said, "Don't make my suit green" of animated. And then he goes back in time. He says that he's Ryan Reynolds, and he looks like Ryan Reynolds, and he's Deadpool. And he laughs about Ryan Reynolds, and then he kills Ryan Reynolds 2 times. I
think it's just like a sketch, Raul. It's just like
I know that it's a sketch. I know that it's a sketch, but if you really think about it.
Now, there was. Did you guys hear about the scene that they cut out from that ending?
What?
So they filmed. It's going to be on the Blu-ray. It's going to be on the Blu-ray. They filmed a scene where Deadpool goes back and kills baby Hitler. and Fox made them cut it out because they thought killing a kid would be too much in the ending.
I
because
Good enough for George Lucas.
Sorry, if I were the producer, I would have totally approved that scene.
Oh yeah.
No, because actually there is some people out there who would view that as political.
Yeah.
Don't bring my politics into my dead
Killing Adolf Hitler is not political. It's one of the most despicable human beings in the history of planet
there's
Earth.
people out there that would be pissed about that.
Also, since we're talking about Hitler, I do want to just pitch. If you haven't yet, watch History Channel has a show called Hunting Hitler, where they've proven the fact that Hitler got out of the bunker and moved to Spain. And Eric Eichmann, by the way, I'm just huge into World War II and Nazis and stuff, because I just find it absolutely interesting that there was these despicable people on this earth. They explain that like he got to Spain. That's true. Well, they're still marching in Texas. The fact that they explain that like sorry, Raul. I know that white people talking about Hitler is very uncomfortable for you.
I've only just noticed you have a Hitler mask in the background.
No. That's not Hitler. If you haven't seen The Following with Kevin Bacon, that's actually Edgar Allan Poe, and it's one of the masks from the movie. I can't debate this though.
Oh God, what's he gonna pull out?
This is a knife I found in Lethbridge, which is near us, and it actually is a modern day Nazi knife. I bought it because it looks cool. Like I think that's
belongs in a museum.
It belongs. But anyway, Raul, don't say Han Solo was a good movie anymore, because you know.
What kind of show have you invited me on?
No, Nolan. This is all on Nolan, because the first time you were on, we just started bitching out Raul, and whenever you're around, I get very aggressive towards him. So I think it might be you.
I have my reasons, because he keeps shipping me and Morgan Robinson together for no reason.
You have similar accents. That's
enough about the Nazi stuff, because that's fucking weird. But anyway, watch that show. Watch that show if you're interested in it. But yeah, was there anything? I mean, I gave Deadpool a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. Like I said, I liked it more than the first, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. It made my top 5. Which very quickly, Avengers of Age of Ultron, Annihilation, A Quiet Place, Deadpool, and Isle of Dogs are my top 5.
I think you mean Infinity War.
Age of Ultron?
Oh, did I say that? Yeah, Infinity War is what I meant. Obviously. Sorry.
What's Age of Ultron? I don't recall that movie existing.
Sorry, Nolan, me and Troy defend Age of Ultron. We like
that
Age
movie.
of Ultron.
I don't hate it. It's fine.
I think when you watch... The problem with Marvel movies is that I don't think a lot of them are great standalones, but if you watch them like I did into Infinity War, there's so many things in there that would just work when you watch them as one big television show.
I'll give you that. I don't hate Age of Ultron. It's pretty fun.
I will give Deadpool 2 an 8 out of 10. It was pretty enjoyable. Thank you, T-Mobile, for the coupon. Also, Brandon, I bought that ticket for Brandon and Janine. Thank you for the coupon.
Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, also, shout out, Janine. You better come on this podcast. We need some Viper Squad action. We had Jay Washington on.
Viper Squad.
So we need
available on TeePublic.
Also,
Brandon has just become a walking advertisement for the Schmodown.
Oh,
you guys realize this?
He's a super
I thought he was on the Schmodown from how much he talks about it.
Just was.
I made a cameo.
He just was. That's true.
Oh, yeah. And sorry, but I gave Brandon the cameo because it was between me and Brandon. I was like, Brandon is the cute one. Make him do the cameo.
Raul's cameo is going to be special. And to point out the cameo, please go watch the last episode of Jedi Council, because our boy Raul was on that episode. Oh, yeah, look at that.
There I am.
Hey, look. That's amazing.
Raul, you were on Jedi Council? Like on the panel?
Yeah, he was. He got interviewed.
I am going to look, for the first time in my life, I'm going to watch Jedi Council and not look at the comment section.
It's a great episode. He's on, if you, Nolan, I'll just help you. 40 minutes into the episode, that's when he appears.
Oh, look at that. Ready to go.
Oh, man. You're moving up in the world, buddy.
Oh, you can.
I love this. The Brandon.
Yes, I was just going to pull that up. You can see him lurching behind Riley.
If you guys were Schmodown competitors, what would your names be?
Ooh.
Already, I was thinking with Janine. I was like, mine will be the Hunter because I want to enter. I want to be with the song from Supernatural, Carry On My Wayward Son. And I will come like as Dean with the jacket and everything.
Well, since the professor is already taken, I think I'd probably go with either the mechanic or the physicist.
I like that.
Oh,
I'm gonna. This is the first time I've announced this. I haven't even told Raul this, but I've been thinking about it. If our podcast ever gets to be a team, my character in the Schmodown, I'm gonna wear a mask and nobody's gonna know who I am.
Except everybody watching this show right now.
Except for the 2 people watching.
Yeah, and also my plan is to be the anti-Roca. I don't want none of the veils.
You already are the anti-Roca. You're not even on the Schmodown.
No, what's awesome about the whole Roca Raul thing is the fact that so Raul and I have conversations throughout, and there's a lot of things that he tells me that I keep quiet. But the fact that when he's at parties and stuff and he sees Roca and they still chirp each other out, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's like a real rivalry, quote unquote. It's great.
Yeah, Brandon, the first time he went to the studio, he saw that was the most epic me and Roca banter ever. So he saw me and Roca bantering in Spanish, in English for 5 minutes.
It was intense.
We were screaming at each other.
There were some foul gestures involved.
But I thought Brandon was just hiding in the corner, though.
No, he was. Oh yeah, because he was like, I don't want Custer to see me. He was totally fine. When Brandon met Custer, he was like this. Like Dipper in Gravity Falls. He was like,
I've met Copster before that. Okay.
If I was on the Schmodown, I'd be called the Highland Warrior.
Oh, I like that. Also, I do want to just say, Brandon, we're just. I don't want you to get sad. We're just making fun, right? It's totally cool about the whole pillow love fest you have going on and the whole Wayne thing. I think it's actually commendable. But why the fuck don't you have Raul? We need a pillow for our podcast because I want Brandon to sleep on my face. And shout out to Janine. You did a film physics logo. We need a guest spotlight merch. We'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
She also did one for It's a Wonderful Podcast with me and Morgan. If you want to get that on a pillow and start humping our faces for some reason.
You guys need a logo.
We do. I have right now it's just that guest, the face with the logo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever.
Just have the logo be Raul pawning over Raylo.
No, I was telling Troy, and I have planned this logo for a long time. We can be in Gravity Falls, but instead of having a flashlight, we can have a camera, and one of us can have a computer, discussing everything. It could be, instead of being the woods, it could be Hollywood. It could be Gravity Falls, but me and him.
Yeah, I love that idea. I would love to be a Gravity's Fall character. I think that would be sweet.
Yeah, that's my idea for the logo, but we can still look into it. Yeah, but also finally we changed the name. Did we say the name? The Guest Spotlight?
Well, that's what the channel there. Everyone kind of knows that. I'm going through right now just to see if there was any other news this week that came out that we can kind of touch on.
It casting.
Oh yeah. All of those so far have been incredible.
James McAvoy going up against Pennywise. I am so down for that.
Wait. James McAvoy is Pennywise?
No, James McAvoy's playing Bill.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hey, also, remember, Troy, that I told this a year ago that I think they were going to do a lot of unknowns for the kids, and they're doing that.
Which is great.
They're not doing all big actors. A lot of people wanted Kristen Bale. And
they've got a few.
Many. Also, they did got that. It was not Bryce Dallas Howard.
Jessica
the other
Chastain.
Oh, yeah. We should talk about
got her.
Yeah, she's officially in.
And Bill Hader. So Bill Hader, James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, and then I think the rest were unknowns, right? I don't remember if they.
Yeah, they're unknowns.
We should talk about quickly too the new Men in Black movie with Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and now Liam Neeson. I need this. Directed by the guy who did Straight Outta Compton, F. Gary Gray.
Oh, I didn't know he was directing that.
This is coming out of nowhere, and I think it's shaping up to be a really good film.
I want a Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum cameo.
I hope so. The fact that 22 Jump Street Men in Black thing got canceled is devastating. I wanted to see that so bad. I thought
that would have been great. And
I would have loved it.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, they're just two police officers that get pulled into the Men in Black, just like Will Smith did. Makes sense to me.
I mean,
Also,
the original director for that was the dude who did Alice Through the Looking Glass. So,
ew.
yeah.
Also, Sony, please do 23 Jump Street.
Please.
We need it.
We do. I love those characters. Or even better, can we just see more Channing Tatum?
Yep.
Because if there's
in Gambit coming 2054.
Old Man Gambit.
Oh my Gambit, that's the thing that we're gonna see.
After the 25th rewrite and the 50th director.
Oh,
That's great.
especially
That's great.
because
The
Gambit
director
gonna
of
have,
Gambit is being born today.
yeah, because also talking about the news, because now Comcast made an offer all in cash for the rights for Fox.
I don't want to get into that because it's literally all he said, she said bullshit.
Yeah,
Until we get a confirmation, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, right, Fox and X-Men right now are dead. We're going to have our next films. We don't know the future of it. If Comcast ends up buying their characters, awesome. You know, that's great. They'll get to do more movies and reboot both franchises and start fresh. I think that will be great. But again, if we get to have them in the Marvel Universe, I'm going to come. So it's really... You know, it's going to be amazing.
Also,
Fantastic Four, I get being in the MCU, but not so much the X-Men. It'd be too confusing.
Unless I do have a pitch, and this is something I've been thinking about. Right at the end of Avengers 4, still let Thanos win, kill all the remaining less of the Avengers, and reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe with X-Men and Fantastic Four. Just kill all of them. That would be cool.
You want to do Days of Future Past?
Yes,
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
That's a good thing, Nolan, because that's the thing that Troy is pitching. It's technically a Days of Future Past of the MCU.
But not necessarily, because I don't want it to be a necessary reboot. I'm looking at it as more of, we have this 10-year-long Marvel universe, and at the end of it, the villain wins. And I think that's never been done before. And I think that would be interesting because Thanos is such a cool character. But I don't know. I don't think that will ever happen. Like, obviously, Black Panther, Guardians 3, and Spider-Man have been announced. Captain Marvel's coming out. Like, they're not going to do that, but I think it would have been cool.
Thanos, you better not take my Mysterio away from me.
We should mention, too, before we wrap this up, the Happy Time Murders trailer. This movie jumped to I cannot wait. And Raul knows, I do not like Melissa McCarthy. I think she is a garbage actress.
Troy hates her.
I hate her, but...
I like her.
But look, the reason I didn't like her is because the reason I didn't like a lot of Chris Farley stuff. I know that's controversial. I'm sorry, but I don't like the big comedian.
Well, freaking da.
I hate Troy, the idea of like a fat.
I cried when Chris Farley died 20 years ago.
Do you guys want to know something? I killed Chris Farley because he died and I was born like a couple hours later.
Oh, so technically you are the team Chris Farley.
Wait, how old are you?
Oh, wait, you do a lot of pot?
Yeah.
You like comedy? Oh my God, you're Chris Farley.
Wait, Chris Farley did more than just pot. He was into some very, very hard stuff.
I know, he did coke and all of those stuff.
But no, what I wanted to say, like the fact, I just don't really like those characters, those fat characters like Melissa McCarthy did, where she just falls and like I don't like that. But the fact that in Life of the Party, the new one, with this movie coming out, Spy was it still had some moments, but I liked it. Bridesmaids was good. I think what she's gonna do in Happy Time Murders looks fantastic, and I like the supporting cast with the guy from Community, Joel McHale. I thought he looked great in that trailer. The fact that we're going to be getting like a Muppet version of Sausage Party looks great. I don't know. This movie looks amazing, and especially because it's done by the guys who, Jim Henson's son. Like, this movie looks amazing to me.
It looks like the Muppet version of 21 Jump Street.
Did you hear that Sesame Street is suing them for likability? I think that's great. That's only going to make it so more people go see this movie, by the way. Any kind of press like that is good.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't be surprised.
Want to be relevant again.
I wouldn't be surprised if they asked Sesame Street to sue them just for the publicity.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, can I talk really quickly about Show Dogs?
Yeah, I'm just bringing up my list too of Letterboxd because I know it's been a couple weeks since we've done this, so I want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to bring up my list and kind of tell you guys what movies I've seen recently, quick, and then we can go into theirs and then.
When I saw Show Dogs, I think I needed to drink or I needed to get baked because that movie was an experience. I can see why Dan Murrow recommended it. Oh my God. It's one of the worst movies that I have seen, but it was funny as hell because it was so bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time on that.
I don't remember the name of the rapper that is the dog's voice. But that scene, Troy, you need to see that scene when it comes on Blu-ray when they touch his testicles and he imagines that he's with Will Arnett dancing. I have the time of my life, and you see that dog carrying Will Arnett. Oh my God!
Aren't they recutting that movie because it was so offensively bad?
They're recutting that scene because they're touching. Oh no! Brandon, it's a PG movie. They showed that dog's testicles like 5 times.
Did fucking Victor Salva direct this? Or like...
No.
I will mention, Raul, who you're thinking about is Ludacris. Ludacris was in that. And Ludacris is garbage. He's not even that good of a rapper, okay? Like, no, thank you.
No, there's
talk about Tej like that.
I wanna question to get answer about that movie. You think that the animals can understand humans and the humans can understand them? But then the dogs themselves, they said, hey, the humans can understand us. But then the humans said, hey, I know what you're saying. So what the fuck is happening?
You know what, Raul? That doesn't sound very logical to me.
I know. Oh, no. And I tweeted. I was alone in the theater. I tweeted live that movie. Oh, how bad it was.
Shame on you, Raul. Turn your phone off in the movie. I don't care if anyone else is there.
Shame.
I don't care.
You know what? I would rather people tweet about how bad Show Dogs is for 5 months than keep tweeting about The Last Jedi.
Is that still a thing? Because
I still see at least 20 hot takes on it per day.
Go to any solo related thread and they'll be like, it's tanking because of the fan reaction to The Last Jedi. It's like, oh, shut the hell up.
Show Dogs, what would you rate it? A 10 out of 10?
No.
It transcends ratings, Troy.
It transcends ratings.
No, like
it's like the Room of dog movies. There's going to be the Disaster Artist equivalent about the making of Show Dogs.
Yes, because this is a scene, Troy, that happened. When they resolve the whole case, they give out like a final twist. The one of the dogs on the show, he was the FBI of dogs, and they want to hire that dog to be doing a whole new case. And he says to the screen, "Here we go again." That's the ending of the movie. No, my brain was like...
I'm just glad Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's out soon so I can have something to be excited about.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm pumped.
I'm excited.
I love J.A. Bayona. So.
No,
I love dinosaurs.
That movie, Cats and Dogs, and Cats and Dogs 2, the Revenge of Kitty Galore, those two movies are Citizen Kane compared to Show Dogs. That's how bad Show Dogs is.
The first Cats and Dogs is just harmless fun, really. It's a fine
I'm not going
kids
to lie
movie.
to you. I didn't even think those were movies until he was talking about Show Dogs.
And I'm a fan of those two Cats and Dogs movies because I know they're bad, but they were enjoyable.
Yeah.
But this one, like I mentioned it to Langley, I was like, oh, don't worry, you're going to see it on Dollar Tree next weekend. That's how bad is it. Even with the Movie Pass, I feel guilty of seeing it. No, like, Troy, if I ever go to Canada,
it's playing at my theater. We go see it for free.
No, when we go to see it later, me and you, we need to do a commentary drunk.
Yeah.
That's a movie that we need to do a commentary. No, that's a movie that has to be analyzed.
Okay. I'd be worried to be in a commentary with Raul because he might get very violent.
No. Even Troy has said it. Maybe we should do a Rogue One
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Oh,
I want to do that with him.
I will get super fucking violent.
Hey, you better not get violent with me.
Oh, Jesus.
Put that away.
Dude, be careful. That Nazi knife is going to end up being your logo.
Troy,
okay, so
I will bring my machete if you try to kill me.
Fine. You win. I do want to mention, though, before we wrap things up, I did get to see 2 movies that I have been dying to see. And these were ones that I rumored were coming out. But the first one is Terminal. Now, this is that Margot Robbie movie. Have you guys seen anything about this with Mike Myers and Simon Pegg?
I've heard about it, yeah. I'm a fan of Simon Pegg's.
It's very, it's story-wise, sure, it's kind of dumb. But they do something at the end with Mike Myers that blew me away. Just for the moment in that film alone, what they do with when you realize that, like, holy shit, that, like, Austin, like, this guy that's not been around that much, he has this incredible role. So please go see that. I don't want to spoil anything, though. And I got to see that Jim Carrey movie, Dark Crimes, which is that detective film he's in.
Has like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, so it's not as bad as the Snowman with Michael Fassbender, but my God. It's there's a lot of good things in this movie, though. His performance is great. The storyline because I think it was like this author's writing a book, and there's parts in this book that, like, are tied to crimes that are happening in real life.
That
so
sounds
he's
like
trying
Castle.
to figure out. Yeah. Oh, is that the thing of Castle? I've never heard.
Yeah, that's basically Castle.
So it's such a long, dreading film. So I get the negative aspects to it because you leave just feeling gross. But just to see Jim Carrey again in a role that is different than Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and now I'm gonna walk into a nude women and blood everywhere detective. I think that was really, really cool. So those 2 movies, I did want to say you might not like them, but give them a chance because I think they were really, really cool. And the directors did a really good job with them, especially getting both Mike Myers and Jim Carrey in films in 2018. That's all I have. I was stunned. So
also going quickly, Life of the Party was pretty fun. It was a surprise. And also that movie Breaking In with Gabriel Union was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And also Book Club. That was not the movie that I was expecting. I was expecting like old ladies reading 50 Shades of Grey and trying to recreate 50 Shades of Grey. It was nothing like that. 50 Shades of Grey is like 2 minutes and they focus on their stories. Please don't think that you say, oh my God, they're gonna do something with 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey is only one plot point. So little. You learn about their stories. You want to know their storylines. They're pretty good characters, especially Andy Garcia and Diane Keaton's relationship. Well, that was the best part of the movie.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed it. Was a very delightful romantic comedy, especially a romantic comedy with all actors. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
If I want to watch a romantic comedy with old actors, I just watch Love Actually.
Good movie. That's a good one. Now, before we end, I want to leave the floor to you, Brandon and Nolan. Is there anything you want to talk about quickly before we wrap this up? Is there anything you wanted to bring up?
Brandon, you go first, buddy.
Oh man,
Troy, you
Film
want
physics.
Yeah. Why don't you? So you just did an episode of Quiet Place, right? You want to talk about kind of that? And actually, Brandon, I'll leave this to you. Why don't you pitch and kind of announce the idea that me, you, and Raul have been playing around with?
Oh man, well, okay, well, yeah, I just did a film physics on A Quiet Place. So took about a couple months off of making videos because I just moved out to California. So I'm getting back into the swing of things now. I got another video that I'm working on. What is it? About how to simulate gravity in space. And I'm kind of using different science fiction films and TV shows as like a frame of reference to try
That's really cool.
Explain that. So I hope it comes out okay. And yeah, I just got I've got so many ideas flowing through my head for different types of shows. I
really love the idea you were pitching me about the once a month tie-in with Raul and yourself. I love that idea.
Yeah. That's still my ideas are evolving every day.
Why don't we leave it with that there's things coming with the three of us, and I'm very excited to see how they turn out when we develop them and stuff. But just a little announcement that there's things in the works.
There are things in the works for sure.
I would love to make like a meta film physics that I could be the one doing Brandon, and I could be Brandon. I would do a film physics of Pretty Little Liars, how A survives so many shit.
I want Raul to go through every movie and just pick out what's logical about them.
Yeah, just call it "Is It Logical?" And he's just dressed up as Spock every time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Spock shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
Spock Star Trek shirt.
I've seen it.
Also,
amazing,
Brandon,
that's awesome
is that Bill Nye on that corner? Is that Bill Nye?
Oh yeah, I've got Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson up on the wall over there.
Oh,
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. I'm glad to hear things are going well and that you're starting to do more videos and stuff. And like I said, talking to you through a lot of the projects and stuff we've been working on, I think they're going to turn out really awesome. So
I'm definitely ramping things up. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming. I just started a Patreon, so if anybody wants to give me their money, I will happily accept.
I was gonna talk to
Raul
about that.
I can send you nudes instead of money. Is that okay?
That's actually Nolan. I was going to tell Raul we don't have a Patreon. We just exclusively like people's nudes. So you can just support us that way if you're listening.
I want photos of Morgan and Morgan together.
Oh my god! Oh, it never ends. It never ends.
I want Morgan and Morgan having tea. That will be my only photo that I need.
It's summer. Why would I be drinking tea?
Hey, if you don't want to give me your money, I won't take nudes, but just subscribe to my YouTube channel.
No, I got you even one better. Send them your pillows.
Yes. When I saw Brandon here in my apartment, one of my pillows, I was worried. My pillow said she was okay.
But Nolan, so I know you have the podcast with Morgan. Did you want to kind of pitch that and tell us a little bit about what you have been working on?
So me and Morgan do It's a Wonderful Podcast where we talk about classic movies. We're going to be doing one on Some Like It Hot pretty soon. I've also got, I'm going to try and get a video essay out before the end of the month so I can get that Patreon money back. And I've been working on one about it for a while now. Awesome. And also, you guys, you probably heard me talking about Moonflower a lot on my own Twitter page. That's currently with a literary agent in New York.
Holy shit, man. That is incredible. It's
very possible it could get published, but I don't want to make any promises. Yeah. But in the meantime, I am working on a couple new stories. And the problem is I don't know which one to start writing. So one is a sequel in the same universe as Moonflower, but focusing on a kid who has a talent for stage magic and then gets brought into like a coven of witches. And the other one Raul knows about. It's a series I've been working on called Tommy Taylor.
Ooh, yes, I like that character.
It's this 15-year-old kid from London who his dad gets shot and he ends up going to a new public school, and it's basically like Sherlock Holmes in high school.
Whoa.
So it think Sherlock Holmes meets Harry Potter, and the title I have for that is Tommy Taylor and the Guilty Journalist. I've got 6 books planned for this series. I've been working it out for the past couple of years. I want this to be my Harry Potter. So if you like that, give me a follow. I'll probably be tweeting about it.
And I want to say, and Raul, I'm just going to speak for you as well. When your book gets published, we're going to do a separate video. We're going to read it, both of us. We'll pick it apart because that's fucking incredible. Like you're able to get that.
Me and
amazing.
Troy, we're going to do our book club.
Well, I know based on Raul's tastes, he is going to love Moonflower Jones because she is freaking terrifying.
The things that you have said about Moonflower, and that's on my list. That you already sent me the book, and I'm going to read it. But yeah, I love those kind of villains, especially when you told me that pitch. I was like, especially also, I love Tommy Taylor. When you sent me that first chapter, I was like, I need to more about him.
That's awesome.
Brandon, just in case you don't know, Moonflower is basically about a kid who wishes to meet her favorite fictional character, and her favorite fictional character is Moonflower Jones, who turns out to be evil.
Nice.
And then it's kind of that kind of story. I'm going for like a Coraline sort of vibe.
Yeah,
awesome.
and also I love
good.
meta, and so that's the most perfect thing about it. And also, if your love is a wonderful one, if you're a fan and you want to know who Raul is, you can still watch the old episodes of the Monday Show. You can watch this episode.
Yeah,
because I love
on every episode.
That episode where you and Morgan were on was by far the best, funnest episode of the Monday Show that we had, and it definitely, like, in history books when they write about me and Raul, that episode's going to stick out as one of the best for sure.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. And also for people watching, if you wanted to check out both of those guys' channels there, links are in the description. I also have their latest videos in there too, so please check that out. I know I have your film physics Quiet Place video, and then your Last Jedi stories as lessons, because those are both just beautiful videos. So thank you for doing those. But where can we find you guys on Twitter?
You can find me at Nolan Dean 27. You can send me nudes at Nolan Dean 27 by DMs. Raul, I see that look in your eyes. Go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say you could find me at Twitter and Instagram at Brandon Hanna 07, and you can give me your money at patreon.com/Brandon Hanna. And if you don't,
promote those pillows.
Yeah, and you can pick up your own film physics pillow now at tpublic.com.
I actually need some new pillows.
Merchandise. You can purchase.
Hey, when I get my paycheck, I'm going to order one of the film physics pillows just so I can use it as a cum rag. So thank you for that.
You are quite welcome. But really, you should thank Janine for the logo.
Also, one more thing. This isn't my channel, but our friends Tom and Kimber, who do Odd Shape Panel, they just started doing episodes again. They're going to be doing an anti-hero episode, I think, tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay,
I can't make it because of school stuff, but if you want to go there and talk anti-heroes with them, go enjoy them. They're really fun to talk to.
And that group of cats are so entertaining. They're amazing. I couldn't bless them enough with what they're doing. So please go check them out, because Odd Shape Panel. And even I heard maybe there's something coming up with Jack this summer. You know, there's a reboot happening, right? Some fan friction, which I am so stoked on, and I'm going to kick Brandon's ass.
I will demolish you.
No, you will not. The problem with me in debates is I get really angry. So
my problem is I don't get angry enough, and I get my ass kicked.
Troy,
listen,
you're so damn angry. You just saw it, how he got angry when I said Rogue One.
Troy, arguing with an engineer is like wrestling with a pig in mud. After a while, you start to realize that he likes it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Wow, Brandon, you get cocky.
Didn't you say you were going on a date after this, Brandon? Like, what does your evening involve?
Sorry.
You don't want to know.
Me and Brandon, we always go to get Starbucks every week. We catch always every
How
week.
many pumpkin spice lattes has Raul ordered?
I don't like pumpkin spice lattes, Nolan. I ordered my same order: a Java chip, a venti Java chip with extra chocolate and espresso shot. Thank you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and you could also catch me on the latest movie trivia schmodown getting rejected by Stacey Howard.
Hey man, honestly, it was worth the shot. So good on you.
Whatever, her loss.
And also, you can catch me on Twitter at Raul Beto RDC. You can catch me fighting with Roca on Twitter.
Of course,
every time.
The best.
And also, Brandon, we're gonna see each other this Saturday for the live Schmodown.
Oh yeah.
I'm jealous. Stop being cool.
I just want to come out to LA now because Scotland is so boring. The most exciting thing that's happened is some guy had a balloon outside.
Was it a red balloon?
No, it was a Rangers FC balloon, so it wasn't that much better.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just look up my name, Troy Loxton. I do want to pitch though. Please go to Doombox Talks. This was Jason Mickey's podcast.
He's a friend of mine. Really cool
so
guy.
he's great, man. And
Yeah,
so he
he's
just
great.
had me on his reboot of his podcast, and we got to talk about my movie that I just made in November, Father. And that whole conversation was incredible. So please go check that out. Check out the rest of the channel. Go through our archives. Look at all the videos. We have a lot of stuff coming up. I'm just in negotiations actually with an editor. I was talking to Raul about that. So a lot of our movie reviews and stuff are going to have a little bit of a different flair to them when we start posting those.
Nice.
A couple other podcast ideas that we're playing around. The show that I do with my friend Austin, Vinyl, where we go through independent rap artists and different musicians. That's going to be coming back very soon. We've just both had really big scheduling problems, so we haven't been able to do that.
And also,
but yeah,
I think that I want to do, and I'm going to tease it right now because we're live. I really want to do that one-on-one when I get the time to see your movie. I want to interview you about everything that happened in that movie. I want to overanalyze it to know about the behind the scenes, everything.
Well, and when that happens, I'll do a special announcement because we're actually going to be putting the movie up online for free so that everyone can watch it now. It had its little bit of run on my website. We made the amazing $15, which is incredible. So we did that, and now we're gonna try to get as much views for it as I can because it is disturbing, it is gross, and it's something that no one has seen before. So please check that out when it's released, and that should be within a week. My laptop comes in tomorrow, so I'll have all the files again and stuff. So it'll be cool. But with that being said, I guess thank you everyone for watching. This is the first episode of the guest spotlight. That's cool. Peace out, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Wait, why isn't it doing it? Where's my mouse? Jesus Christ.